Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. My name is Seth Varnadore. I was a former college and high school football coach for a decade. Now I break down film here on YouTube with an emphasis on the Florida Gators. All right, I said at the end of my last video that while the South Carolina game was a lot of fun, I did not think you would have quite as much fun against Georgia, especially coming off of Georgia off a bye. Now, I looked wrong for about a drive, but then after that, Florida made some key mistakes. Georgia's able to take advantage and blow the game open in the second quarter. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit, see where those mistakes were made, if they could have been avoided, and just look at some of the other scheme stuff because there was some really good stuff early, especially from the Florida offense. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at that. So we'll start with the first play of the game. We'll look at the whole first drive here and then most of the next few drives. We don't need to belabor the point, but the motion here. And then you're going to run Y cross, one of their favorite plays. If you watched last week's video, you've seen how long they've been running kind of this. But this is the same motion the Dolphins used, right? This became all the rage. Motion out, and watch kind of what you get here. Opens up that big window right there, and you can protect it. So probably that, and then released outside, get back. So again, you see how this kind of, that initial motion makes him think probably out. He opens his hips up that way. Then you get vertical and you win really easy there. Good pass protection as well. And you're able to deliver a nice ball there for a first down. So you can kind of see it all here. So all the elements of Y cross, off the fake. He's the flat guy, deep over, vertical, dig, and then the post, if you like it, over the top. Kind of a skinnier post here, but dig opens up wide right there. And this is something Florida tried to take advantage of later in the game. You see how they're kind of playing these crossers. So you've had safeties jump down on top of Pearsall later in the game, and Wilson runs a post. They end up working the front side of it and don't get there, but good stuff anyway. So right here, running like split zone, but almost outside zone. So you kind of get this block here on the edge. Don't block corners, leave them, but the corner makes a really good play here. All right, the corner comes up and makes the tackle. You end up picking up 3, but this is, most teams are trying not to block corners. You saw Florida and Kentucky both do this in their game a few weeks back. Kentucky's corners were able to make plays. Florida's were not, but not a bad strategy. Go block safeties, don't block corners. Make them tackle. He makes a tackle. That's fine. You still pick up a couple yards, positive gain, get to 2nd and 7. And they ran screen a couple times in this game, and I thought they had the looks they wanted here. Watch kind of how this thing clears out with the motion. It's really one guy that kind of gets left on screen on both sides. If you're able to see him and get this thing blocked up, like I would consider him right now, especially with what he normally plays for them. I'd consider him like the end out here. So you're supposed to pass pro him. It's hard to say with a guard pulling action if, they want him to be hinging for that. But you have the center blocking down as well. So I think you maybe want to pass set this guy, and if you could pass him off, and also pass setting him probably invites him upfield a little bit more there. But even with all that, if you just get him blocked, he's running, right? This thing's cleared out. You got one guy basically here to make the play on that. because this running across is clear. There's the corner. He's gone. You can see the safety shadow. He's going that way. This guy's going to run into it, but it's basically a foot race. And you see he kind of plays back here. So if you get him blocked, you got a really good play on. You don't get him blocked. And so you get yourself in 3rd and long here. And I like this wrinkle right here, 3rd and 9. Same exact look you had against South Carolina. Motion him out. And what are you doing at South Carolina? In, lead blocker, swing pass, right? And it looks just like it pre-snap, and watch how Georgia plays it. So let's pause right here. He's looking out. And now he's going to go inside here, and you're actually going to sneak him out the back door there. So I really like this, especially if you feel like they're going to play man on the backside, whereas he goes in here to crack. He's going to run with him. You avoid that. Easy throw back here. Picks up the first down. I like this play call, not just because it picks up the first down. Even if he gets tackled for, a couple yard gain, or not a couple, but 4 or 5 yard gain, you put yourself into a nice 4th and manageable. But it's just building off stuff you've already shown on tape, right? So right here, exactly what you showed against South Carolina. Now bring it back the other way. Good design. Get vertical. Pick up the first down. 1st and 10. Just running some inside zone. It looks like split flow zone. Maybe a mid zone. Get vertical. Pick up 2 or 3. 2nd and 7. So you motion out. You're thinking some type of screen possibly, right, when Florida goes empty. And, man, you get this thing set up perfect. Right here, he actually makes a mistake, which this guy's so good with the ball in his hand, you're not going to say much. But and basically this dude's in between these two. If he just gets vertical right now, he's one-on-one with the safety, right? Instead, he kind of tries to go underneath. You can't do that against like a Georgia. You can do that maybe against like McNeese or one of, and you can definitely do that when you're him in high school, but cannot do that in Georgia. Just watch it from this view here. Bang. If he just gets vertical right now, he's one-on-one with him. And this dude is pretty good one-on-one. So that's one I can just get vertical, get up in there. You got the blocks right here, so you've got it schemed up really well. Don't go back in there. That's where all the big guys are. Anyways, you get to 3rd and 6. You're going to motion to spacing, and they're on the slant backside. This is another one you saw this against South Carolina. This was a big 3rd down play for them, where you're spacing. They added some vertical elements too with it, and then the backside. So when they go true 4-man spacing, you'll get a vertical element. You'd also get the back. He stays in protection. You'd get him in the flat typically. But here you got that backside. And once you see this motion right here, as I come across, as he comes down and he rotates back to the middle, I like that matchup backside, right? As soon as you see this blitz, I know I'm throwing the slant, put it on him, great catch and run right there. And that's kind of when you can't generate the explosives over the top. This goes down on the sheet as a 25-yard pass. That's an explosive, right? So catch and run opportunities for guys like that, easy way to generate explosives, right? So you can see it from here. Just wins off the line. Good run after catch. So great start. Perfect start if you're Florida. You go down the field, perfect passing the ball. You're able to run it a little bit. Exactly what you want. This is a problem. This double team told me it might be a long day. So, but 4 or 5 yard gain on first down is not the worst thing in the world. Good job here. This is kind of a play out of Florida's book here. And then to the flat. It's flood, basically flood. But they're putting 4 into a side here. It's hard. The safety's going to end up trying to come down. So how this kind of ends up distributing, right? He runs with the post. He kind of runs with the wheel. Safeties comes down for the out route there. So right there. Safety comes down a little bit. And it's just good timing here. I'm not sure if you'd rather, if you want that flying to the flat with this and dropping underneath more. But it's a good play design by Georgia and good timing on the throw, right? You see the safety kind of gets in just behind the throw. And good design and good timing and good accurate throw. Now, he may have dropped that ball. There's kind of an angle where it looks like he might have dropped it, but didn't get called. So after a good run on first down from Georgia, you get 2nd and 3 here. And this is one where, like, flip it. If this is Georgia's defense, the way Georgia's got those guys, what's the result of this play right here, right? So right here, you're in good position. Just come down and strike. And I think that's kind of when Florida's has problems, in my opinion, it's a little bit because, like, where does your youth show up, right? You're young and not big. Like, you're not physically imposing at backer and at safety, right? So you're really young there. You're playing true freshmen. You're playing guys, true sophomores and things like that at those positions. So when they're involved in run fits and things of that nature, you can get beat there a little bit. And I think that's what we've seen in the losses, where sometimes those guys aren't fitting as well against these bigger physical teams, right? So right here, I mean, talking about a young linebacker, Shamar James plays this really well. Turns this thing back in right there. Bang. Make that play. You're in position. Make that play right there. It's a loss of 1. Said it turns into a gain of 3. And that's not to say it doesn't have a big impact. It makes it 2nd and 11 here instead of 2nd and 8. Do they call the same play? I don't know. But good design here again by Georgia. This kind of it's difficult to know exactly, but you've got that there, and it looks like he's dropping. I don't know if he's supposed to turn and run with this and let him take this thing coming to the flat. It's kind of what it looks like, but it's always hard to tell for sure, especially with this kind of copy here. But you turn and peel with that and get in better position, make it a tougher throw. He still doesn't make a great throw, but you could probably, this is one, if you're in his hip pocket, you can probably get that arm there, knock that thing out. But again, I don't know if that's his responsibility or if you've got, a safety or a nickel back here that's supposed to come pick that thing up, because you see the nickel kind of get in late. So it's hard to really assess blame here. But it could very well be, I got to peel with that, first thing out. But it's difficult, right? Good play call into the boundary. Makes it tough with, I think, some of Florida's rules. And these teams run similar schemes, right? So they have a pretty good idea of what the rules are. Right here, I mean, you got a deep out. I think he's running like a deep crosser. And then here, you got a screen. So you've got some options here for the quarterback. So if I do have to check it down, I got I got a lead blocker out here if I need to check it down. Here, it looks like kind of one-on-one outside there. It could be a bunch of different coverages, but outside it looks like one-on-one. And their guy wins. Good throw, too. Good throw. This is not bad coverage. Good throw and catch. Right? It's sometimes it comes down to one-on-ones, and you either win them or lose them, right? So Georgia won it there. So this is a nice little scheme they're in a couple times down here on the goal line. Here, and then he's wrapping inside. I think maybe if you're thinking I'm going to get zone where they're reaching here, if I can kind of occupy these two, right? If I can kind of occupy those two, 1 and 2 there with the tackle, backer comes up to take the tight end. Now I jump inside here. If the back's reading that, maybe he cuts back right into me. All right, so hit the helmet's out, bangs right back into the looper there for a nice play on first down. And then second down, same thing, same action here. It's going to be there. Right, and your end is there to make the play. Get you into 3rd and goal here. Good rush off the edge. Good rush off the edge. You get a little lucky, I think. Not much, but a little bit. I think the idea was, if you're Georgia, you're basically running stick down here. So, and then back behind it. I'd imagine you may want to hopefully get him to jump that and high-low behind him. All right, as he goes here, I'm not sure if he's supposed to wall that off. He's kind of running like he should be, but that ends up kind of coming over the top of this. And if he kind of has time, but with a good pass rush there, he's got to get the ball out of his hands before this thing can clear. But I wonder if that's the design right there. But you covered up really well. I know they looked like they were calling a timeout, but they covered up really well. Holding to a field goal. You're thinking, hey, man, to win the game, that's what I got to do. Go down and score touchdowns. They're going to drive it a little bit, but then I got to hold them to field goals when they do. If you do that all game, you got a chance to win. So first down, coming back the other way. Just a little boot action. Deep over. Flat. And he slammed flat late, right? Nothing new. Just a different way to get to it. And you're throwing the ball, to one of your better players. Throw the ball to Pearsall here on the run. Good tackle there by Georgia. Get the 2nd and 8 here. And this one, I think you're trying to go split zone again, and it may be that same kind of more outside zone look at split zone. It almost turns into wham the way this thing works out, where he's going to he's going to come fill here, and the guy that's your split zone guy ends up getting the D tackle. So it almost works out like a wham play, which is basically like trapping with an H-back or a fullback. I don't know if it was designed to be wham or if you got lucky, but it worked out really well. Great run there. And you can see it from the backside here. Bang. And then the back does a good job pressing the hole and then bouncing. Watch the back here. Press it. Get him to kind of commit. And then bust outside. Good run there to pick up a first down. Now you're in 1st and 10 here. You don't really question what the back sees. But, man, this thing, I think you catch Georgia in a slant here. And you get exactly what you want in the split zone look here. I mean, this hole is big, and it looks like, man, you could just run straight ahead. I don't think he sees this. He sees this safety kind of or this corner flash there and is trying to cut. And if, this guy's not here, maybe he breaks it. But when you see the back view, it's like, man, feels like you could have just stayed right in here. There's 3 coming in. Boy, it feels like, and you don't, these guys have great vision. The Florida backs have proven to have good vision, right? You're not going to question what they see too much. But man, it certainly looks like that looks good right there. Regardless, he sees him flash, starts to cut. I don't think he sees this. If that's not there, he may kind of run out past this dude and be gone there. But up front, you get what you want right there. Good movement. Good job working here. You get the kick right there. And that's a huge hole to run through right there. 1st and 10. All right, so this is another one where it's kind of like the screen earlier. First of all, you got to work to get that head across. But if you get this blocked, watch the flow you get to the jet. Because you're going to be here and kind of come back out. You're going to have him as a lead blocker. So if you just count blockers, right? Because look at the flow you get to the jet. He's gone. You can see the safety's glove. He's there. You've got 1, 2, 3, and then he's peeling back for this guy. So right now you've got like 4 blockers on 2 guys kind of out here. Now the safety's going to get back into play, but you've still got it outmanned. It's just that this guy makes the play right here. And then you don't get the perfect flip here. Good catch there on the flip. But right here, this thing, if he catches this clean and is, here instead of having to deal with that, this maybe hits before this guy can kind of clear out there. So the flip causes a little bit of hesitation, but if I get him blocked, man, I've got a good play, right? Because I've got that, and then as he turns back for that, hopefully you get that one as well. Instead of what could be a good play on design, not executed perfect, obviously, not executed super well. You feel like you're moving the ball pretty well, and you go to the trick, and you can see after the fact, okay, they got kind of the look they wanted, but that's always kind of that's the risk you take, right? When you call those kind of plays, is if it doesn't work, man, when you call them, they got to be big for you, it feels like, and when they're not, it always kind of leaves you second guessing yourself a little bit. So you're just going to go zone here, try to get some of it back. If you kind of lose this block here, if you're able to, and you kind of got helmet on the wrong side, you like to be on that side, right? If I can get that thing reached. If you get that reached, you kind of getting this thing turned back. I can probably hit that thing and bounce it. Again, the corner's left, but that kind of, he starts to go. I think he may even be able to go anyways, but he starts to cut it back a little bit here, back into the defense, and you pick up 3 or 4, but probably 2 or 3 actually, and then get yourself in a 3rd and 11. And I think you're going to go like pivot, dig backside, and then smash over here. It's hard to tell if this is one where if it's a really good throw and he takes because he's kind of bailing. These guys know, these guys play a ton of different coverages, but, everyone's got to call like a China call or a smash call where this guy, he can give him a call for that and he'll bail and try to get underneath this and they'll give this up, especially on like a 3rd and long. You see the back view though, when this thing's thrown, he throws it before Pearsall breaks. If it's a good throw, he's got a chance on the corner here. But obviously you don't protect it, and it's really not bad protection, just outside of, it's just a straight speed rush. If you can get a little bit more of them here, 1, 2, 3, hitch. He's going to throw. I mean, that's not like he's sitting. There were some sacks where he held a little bit. This wasn't one of them. You get a little more time here, and then we'll see the back view. I think a really good throw as he's throwing it here. If you can throw it vertically, kind of really good throw, you got a shot because he's got leverage here, right? It's worrying about that guy dropping underneath it. But also, like a bad throw, if you flatten him out, a bad throw might get picked here. So could have been a net positive possibly, but I think, by the time he was throwing it, if you get this guy on a deep angle there, which he should be taking a deep angle out of it to run away from him and away from him, you have a chance there on 3rd and 11 to complete this corner route, right? If I'm taking a good angle and I throw him deep away from him, I got a shot. But you got no shot when you can't block. Just 3 and a hitch, and the guy gets there. So you end up punting. Georgia gets good field position. Get into a 3rd down and 4, though. So first, if you can get after that, if you can get off the field in 3 plays, you feel pretty good about it. Get to a 3rd and 4, and you decide to bring some pressure here. And I'm not sure if these two end up in the same gap or if he's supposed to drop. I don't think he's supposed to drop. I think these guys kind of end up in similar spots here. If you are supposed to drop, you can kind of get underneath that a little bit, and maybe extend it to here. But you're playing man on the back, and it's just a simple mesh concept here. You play it all right in most spots. You just don't run it down here. So I guess that's my question on this one, because you have that. All right. Is he supposed to drop underneath, or is he kind of part of the blitz as well? It could be both. Is he like a rat underneath there? And if he was, and if he can kind of get here, so the ball has to be thrown a little bit further out, maybe that gets my DB a little bit more chance to be in better position. But you'll see when they go to the wide copy. Hey, man, it's man. It looks like it's cover 1 with the blitz. It's a race across. Really good job here. Not as good of a job here. Now the ref gets in the way a little bit, but I think you got to, as soon as you see him go in, if it's man, you got to start driving on that thing, Take a good angle, getting over the top of the ref. That's tough. And then still right here, I got to be taking a great angle, running 100 miles an hour right there, and trying to make that play, at 4 or 5, make it at 6 or 7 yards instead of letting it be 20 or, 15. So come back here, play really well. They try to get you with a screen and go, and they're a heavy screen team. This guy pops open, but doesn't see him. Florida or Georgia was a 25% screen team coming into this game, so can't be shocked to see screen, and they're probably playing against that tendency, right? But Florida does a really good job against this. And Beck's got to throw it away. All right, you get to a 2nd and 10. Perfect. And then you get caught here. You just about get there. Your rush just about gets there. But right here, this play action fake holds backers. And this is where it's tough to know exactly what's going on, right? Is it man? And then it doesn't seem like man coverage, right? Because you've got guys after they see run, you're dropping underneath there. You're only bringing 4, so it's not like you're bringing some kind of zone blitz, right? You're bringing 4, but right here, this is where you just gotta slow the bleeding down, make the play right there. And you don't do it, he turns this thing up and scores here. And is this one where this is what's always right? I try to always not necessarily lenient, but try to understand there's a lot of different ways to play things. there could be as he goes here, he drives and he replaces. Some people play stuff like that, right? Some people play crossers like that. It could be it's straight man. He's got a stick in his hip pocket, right? It's hard to tell for sure with the motion here and the way the corner kind of is locked on the top, seemingly. But good play call from Georgia. I think it very well could be he's supposed to rotate to the middle and he's supposed to take the deep, overtake. They've done that before. If it's that, it's just tough to see this, identify it all at the same time. But it could just be that where he's got to play man coverage and he loses. But I think the real issue is like here, it's tough, but here, got to just make the tackle, at least turn him back that way. It's tough, but got to limit the bleeding a little bit, right? Stop the bleeding. So big play touchdown. 1st and 10 here. I think Florida comes back to kind of a wide cross concept. A lot of times they're there, crosser, dig. Not too dissimilar to what they ran the first play of the game. You get kind of the face mask. I think you get a hand stuck in the face mask. So a little, obviously you don't want hands in the face, but I think your hand gets stuck in there. So I don't think he was intentionally trying to face mask and hold on the whole time. So, but puts you in a really bad position. But this is a great check, and you're actually going to insert here. So almost like an ISO. Really like this run check right here. Because right when I insert, now I can double there, and he's almost doubling looking back to here, there, and then insert to there. Really like this look. Then good hard run there. Get you back in a second and manageable situation. Get you 2nd and 10 at least. And this is one where it looks like wide cross, but I think they're going post back here, right? Tagging the post. And to me, I can't be definitive on this because I don't have the all 22 copy. They didn't show the wide copy on this one on the broadcast. But if I am tagging post, right, because he usually breaks his dig at 10 route or 10 yards, he could be rounding it off up top. It's hard to tell. You could be rounding it off. Either way, dig or post, that's where I want to throw this thing because look what you get here. It's easy to say that now when your read's probably, high-low here, back to there, right? So that's probably your, 4th guy in the progression if you're, reading this thing from the smash route over here back. But, man, watch how they play the crosser here. He's turning and running with this crosser. There's definitely a window here and possibly vertically there as well. So, right? So there's a kind of a window in this area. Whichever one he's throwing or whichever one he's running, if you throw that one, you got another good play. High-low the corner. This is one you can probably throw even sooner. Wait a little bit. But at least you're in a 3rd and manageable. 3rd and 5 is manageable compared to you were in 1st and 22 a couple plays ago, right? So come to the same thing here as your touchdown play. Different formation, but the same idea. So spacing to this side. Vertical. And then slant back here. A little bit better ball. This is a 1st down. I still don't know how. Is the knee even down there? I still don't know how the ball got marked where it got marked after the initial play. I don't know how you can turn it over, but Right? If you didn't like this one, he clears out with that. You throw there. But this is where you want to go with the ball. Perfect. A little bit better ball. Doesn't slow him down. If I can get it on this shoulder, should be an easy conversion. But you don't get the spot. Kirby says it was wrong, so it must be wrong. So now you get into fourth down here. And this will be controversial. I don't hate the play call here. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I see what you're doing here. You go out quick. Georgia's a little discombobulated, but look, once you get in the sneak, you're almost too fast. But look what they get into. You've got basically 4 guys, and he's trying to push him further in. You're gonna have like 5 guys from guard to guard just about here, or 5 guys between the tackles here for Georgia, right? So you're down, down, down here, down, down. And then he's going to run a corner out, and he's going to be sneaking across to the flat. You snap it between the quarterback's legs. He's going to get downhill for a second and then roll. And if he throws it, when he pulls his arm back, if he just says, it's fourth down, I'm going to throw it, and it's close to Pearsall, I think you convert, right? Like right here. Right there. Throw it to him. Throw it to him. Give him a chance. Because he's got him outflanked. If you just put it out here, give him a chance, he's going to convert, right? Now, Georgia, this guy makes a great play here, seeing it. But you kind of just have to throw this thing and hope it works out right there because it's fourth down. And you can kind of see it from this view a little bit better. It's basically a run-pass option where if I can just give it to him, and this corner you open this corner holds here, right? If you just throw it here, throw it right there, just let him. And right, the criticism for sure is are you asking your running back to do too much here? Maybe. And does Georgia play this really well? Yeah, they play it pretty well. But man, if you call it, you got to throw it. So I'm sure in practice they worked it, but that's got to be the emphasis. If I call it, you've got to throw it. It's fourth down. I don't care if it's incomplete, but we can't have this. So still, it's 10-7. Your defense bows up and, holds them to a field goal. It's 13-7. You're still in the ball game, right? You kind of knew what you need. You knew your defense was going to struggle a little bit, so you needed to try to get points and stay on the field as much as possible. Here, I think you got a slant called on, and one guy misses the call because it looks like these guys are slanting. It looks like he's slanting. I don't think he got the call, or he doesn't slant right here. All right, it looks like he's slanting inside. Looks like he's slanting, and they're outside. But you don't get that across here. So as I slant and open up this gap, and then I don't slant to try to overtake that gap, now I get easy for the center to get up on the backer there. Right, where maybe if I'm slanting in here, and then he can get over the top there. Maybe. It's tough. I just don't think you'd call, right? Somebody busted, right? Because I don't think you'd call this where he can hear, and then you go back behind him. I don't know. To me, that doesn't seem sound. But who knows? Especially when you get blown out the gap over there. Could be, though. But so you give up a 10-yard run on first down. So, first and 10 again. Play this one pretty well. Good pass defense. Make the quarterback pull it down. Get off for a sack. Get yourself into a 2nd and 11 here. Good job retracing. And let's look at the coverage on the back end. Oof. Post, crosser. Not bad. May have been able to stick this post on, but he was looking here. You covered up pretty well. Might have been a missed one right there. Also on the play, right? You're let's go back to it again. Gonna drop here. So a little creeper action as well. Drop underneath there. Good stuff. You can see it here. Drop underneath here. Then as the quarterback goes to escape, he can get downhill on him. 2nd and 11 here. Another one where I I'm not sure if this is a bust or what. If this is supposed to be, because it looks like he slants here. So is this supposed to be here? Like that? Or is he just getting, maybe he's getting held, but is he just getting pushed inside and now I got no edge, right? And now this guy's trying to play probably, these guys play like A gap to C gap. So this guard gets a free run at me. That's tough. I'm able to get off, but just can't make the play. So that's kind of the question. Is it a slant? Are we slanting here? Are we pinching? What are we doing? Is it a slant? And get over the top there? I don't know. Is it a slant? And because right here, the guard gets off pretty free right here. And your edge gets sealed. You get off the block, but can't get a good angle there to make the play. All right, so you went for it, but you're still only down 10. You go down and score, make this thing 7. You can make it a 1-score game again, right? So field goal or touchdown, go down and score, make this a 1-score game. You're still in the game here. 1st and 10. Call a drop back pass, and you just don't protect it, right? You're trying to get – you've got this coming across. It could be a Y cross look again. It could be he's going to kind of end up curling up here. But the issue is the protection here. You actually, like right here, you should be in pretty good position. But your back gets beat pretty bad here. Line does a pretty good job. That's not bad. Your back's got to step up here. And then as a quarterback, obviously you don't think you're going to – it feels like you got a pretty good pocket right here. If you're just kind of here, eyes are here, I feel like these guys are taken care of. Trying to get back to this where I think he ends up hitching up here. But by the time I get back to that, I'm getting sacked. All right, so puts me in a 2nd and really long here. And this is one where I'm going to get vertical here. He's going to turn and run with it. He's going to turn and run with it. You get this thing cleared out pretty good. You'd get your tight end here on the run with a lot of room. Like we said right here, he's running. The guy that was there is running. So once you clear him, you've got a ton of room. And you see Mertz is trying to get to him here. He's stepping up, I think he's looking this way. He's going to throw it there. Good catch and run. You pick up a bunch, hit yourself in 3rd and manageable, maybe even pick up a 1st down. But you get beat on the edge there. So, and there's not a lot of scheme there, just one-on-one. Get beat on the edge. gets his hand in there, and sometimes that happens. So, and that effectively ends the ball game. So, we don't need to watch the whole thing. It's I thought Florida came out with some good stuff on offense. Defensively, never really caught their footing for most of the game. And against a team like Georgia, who's got a big talent advantage, right? You cannot make those kind of mistakes and expect to win. I didn't even show the blocked punt coming up in the next drive. I mean, you're hoping that you're the team that can generate the turnovers, get yourself short fields, kind of what you did a little bit last season where you got some of those turnovers. That's the kind of game you got to get in, right, to pull an upset. You're not going to pull an upset, turning the ball over yourself deep in your own territory twice, getting punts blocked, having, sacks kill drives, right? And that's been the problem for Florida this year is the sacks are backbreakers. So nothing really new in terms of problems, but just kind of a really bad quarter or part of a quarter there kind of killed the game. So, but you move on. Next week, I think, is probably your most important game of the season. A very winnable game at home against Arkansas. You win that one, you're in a bowl game. You beat your season win total. You're in good position. Young guys can start getting in there with impunity. You lose that one, you're in a really tough spot, right? Bowl game practices will be very important for this team for next year. And if you can't get those, that's going to really, really set back the developmental timeline, I think. But regardless what happens next week, we'll be back with another version of Watching Film, and we'll take a look at it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share this with people if you enjoy it. Help me game the YouTube algorithm here. Thank you for watching.